So you want to break into the tech industry, but you have zero tech experience? This is the right video for you. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to break into tech with no experience, coming from a girly who not only broke into tech herself, but is now a tech recruiter. Hey, what's up? It's Emily and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, consider me your internet big sister who just so happens to be a recruiter, which means you get 2 fire videos a week, one to help you level up your career and the other to help you level up your life. Also, let me know how we feel about the mic being visually in front of us. I post these kinds of episodes on my podcast as well, so I just want to up that audio quality, you feel me? I'm going to start off with a super mini introduction on me and how I broke into tech. If you're not interested in me, rude, offensive, hurtful. Your girl did not start out in tech. I've never studied tech. In fact, I didn't really consider tech to be an industry that I was keen on, probably until I was 24 or 25. I graduated from York University, which is a Toronto-based university with a degree in human resources. I ended up landing an internship. One thing led to another. Boom, I landed in recruiting, and here we are. 4 years into my time at the bank, I realized I was ready to start looking for other opportunities. And at first, I was only considering the same industry, like finance, insurance, all of those good things. But then I started to speak to some people who worked in tech, and I was like, wait a second, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Which leads me to the why should you consider a career in technology? I want to start off by saying you don't have to be an engineer or have a technology focused role in order to work in tech. You can do any function, any career within the tech industry. My biggest motivators for transitioning into tech was making more money and also more flexibility and career growth. A lot of these tech companies either are startups or still act like startups, which is where I landed at the company I'm currently at. Plus, they tend to be a bit more flexible with dress code. The offices tend to be a little bit more like cushy and cool. Plus, there might be flexibility with my working hours and a little bit less of a focus on like FaceTime and how long you're in the office for physically. I knew I was really interested in either financial tech or health tech, so I just started looking into companies, especially in the Toronto area where I live, that had a specialization in that. And then I looked at the reviews on Glassdoor and also on websites like Reddit and Fishbowl to see what employees said about working there. And that actually eliminated quite a few companies that I was previously excited to apply to, and then was like, I think everyone who works with you is miserable, so it's gonna be a no for me. It basically gave me a short list of like 10 to 15 companies that I was really excited about, and then I just took to their career websites and started applying. But while I was applying for jobs, I also got really intentional about networking because I was very aware this was going to be an industry shift for me. And if you're watching this, I'm assuming it's an industry shift for you as well. So it's really important that you're identifying people who are going to A, give you referrals, and B, say your name in rooms that you are not in. It's not enough to just apply for positions. I say this all the time, although if you do need help updating your resume, click this video. It's fantastic. But essentially, what I would do is go on LinkedIn and look up people who had the job I wanted at the company I wanted. I reached out to them on LinkedIn and said something as simple as, hey, it's Emily. I see that you work at Google as an HR consultant. I'm really passionate about moving into a similar role. Do you have 10 minutes for a coffee chat? I'd love to get to know you. I probably got 50 no's and 1 yes, but all it takes is 1 yes. I know that's going to feel like a lot of energy and a waste of time, but ultimately what it's going to do is A, help you get referrals, and B, it's going to validate or maybe deter you from working at certain companies or being interested in certain career paths. If you don't know how to have a kick-ass informational interview, I have a full video for you there too. I've got you covered, like a sweater. Like a warm hug. In those informational interviews, there were a couple of questions that I asked that I'm pretty sure changed the game for me and really helped me stand out as a candidate. My personal favorite was, what are some of the skills or career gaps that I have right now that I need to work on before I move into this role? AKA, what are the skills I don't have that I'm going to need in order to get your job? And usually people were really helpful and they would say, you need to work on X or Y or Z. And I would make a list of it. And then after the call, I would take it away and figure out what my game plan was to close the gap. And if you have enough conversations with different people, believe it or not, you're going to get a pretty robust list of how you can not only help your resume improve, but also help you prepare for interviews. Now, everyone's list of their skills gaps are going to be a little bit different. I know when I got my list, one of my biggest areas of like knowledge gap was understanding engineering roles. I had never recruited for engineering in like a robust capacity. And I just, like you said Java, I said, okay, let's get a cup of coffee. Like I did not know a single thing. So you know what I did? I reached out to some of my friends who were engineers and picked their brain. I watched YouTube videos. Like, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Another fun tip, if you are still in your current job and you need to upskill for your dream job, just start asking for opportunities to work on your dream projects. Whoa, creepy hand movement. Ask for opportunities to work on your dream projects in your current role. Basically get paid to get better, to leave. I mentioned applying directly and networking, and the most important thing you can do after applying to these jobs directly is reaching out either to the recruiter, to the people that you've already connected with, or to someone who is on the team that you're applying to on LinkedIn. And send a message as simple as, "Hi, I'm Emily. I've recently applied for insert position. I'm really passionate about transitioning my career into tech. Let me know if you have any questions or if we can hop on the phone for a quick chat." Your goal for this isn't even necessarily to get these people on the phone. It's to make sure that your name is first in their mind. So then when they're reviewing resumes, they go, "I think Emily reached out. She must be really passionate about this role." Bonus tip, if you've got a good relationship with a couple of the people you've networked with and they work at the company you're interested in applying to, reach out and ask them for a referral, or reach out and ask them to connect you with the hiring manager or the recruiter. This is probably the best thing that you can do, especially when you are transitioning your career, because it's going to make sure you stand out and you also get a stamp of approval from someone who's already in. On your resume, as well as in these conversations and interviews, it's really critical that you are focusing on the transferable skills, or the skills that actually transfer. Just because you're changing industries doesn't mean that you're not qualified. It actually helps you bring a completely different set of perspective that maybe someone who's already in that industry doesn't know about. For example, my deep knowledge on finance ended up being really beneficial for the role that I eventually moved into. So focus on the really strong niche skills you do have, as well as what your transferable skills are going to look like. You being a good leader in your job today means you're going to be a good leader in your next job tomorrow. Tech as an industry loves a nasty interview process. Facebook, for their software engineers, has a 9-step interview process. Pardon? That's a lot of interview steps. I would say on average, you're probably looking at like a 3 to 5 step interview process, which I know for some other industries is already like exponentially more than what you would typically do. So just mentally prepare yourself. This is probably going to be a meaty, heavy interview process. Case studies are also really, really common and popular in tech interviews, so mentally preparing for that is really, really smart. You can check out the actual interview like questions they're going to ask or the process if you go on Reddit or Glassdoor. If you go on Reddit and you type in like Facebook's interview process, people straight up spill the beans and tell you exactly what's on there. So it's a really good idea to take a peek at that. Bringing it back to my story, because hashtag love to make it about me. Just kidding. Well, actually, not just kidding. I am kidding. Here's how I ended up breaking into tech. Like I said, I was networking really heavily and I was applying directly to positions. And one of the women that I reached out to on LinkedIn, basically flagging my application for a senior recruiter role, responded to me and was like, "I'm happy you reached out. I actually was able to look at your resume because you messaged me and I'd love to have a coffee." And I was like, yes. So I had a virtual coffee with her, loved her, immediately just thought she was so brilliant. We had such a great conversation. Krista, if you're watching, hey girl, thank you. And the conversation went really well. She put me forward for the second round interview. That went really well. And then the third round was a case study where I had to put together a recruitment strategy basically and present it to a panel of 4 people. It was a 3.5-hour long interview. So yes, it was a big boy, but I kind of knew that was the typical interview format because I had done that research and watched videos like this. And I ended up getting the job. When I got the job offer, I went to PayScale, made sure that it was in range for my role, for the country that I live in, for the city I work in, and I felt comfortable that the offer was fair. I did go back and negotiate because there is no harm in asking for more, and they gave me more, and then I signed it, and I've worked here for 3 years. So if you are not believing in yourself, if you are scared to make that transition, you can do it. You do not have to be a software engineer or have all of this experience to transition into tech. It's all about how you market yourself and how you connect with people. That's really going to make the difference. If you want in-depth videos on what it's really like to work in tech or how to become a software engineer, or if there's other things that are just like burning in your mind and you want answers for, let me know in the comments. I literally love taking your suggestions and making content out of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does make a huge, huge difference. And I will talk to you in my next video.